Turning now to taking the politics out of redistricting. A group in Michigan is trying to educate voters about the possibility of an independent commission to redraw political boundaries. Here's a little primer for you. Every 10 years, the legislature redraws district lines for House, Senate, and Congress. And, it ends up benefiting whatever party is in power. And a group called Voters Not Politicians wants to get a ballot initiative together for 2018, where voters would decide on a constitutional amendment that would hand over redistricting to an independent commission. Now, not even talking about how difficult it is to get a ballot proposal going. Let's not even talk about that. Let's say that this finally gets to a point. Let's talk about the possibility of an independent commission. And I'm going to start with you, Nancy. Is that the right way that we should be going for redistricting, as opposed to leaving it to whoever ends up winning here?
So I think we definitely need to figure out a better way to do redistricting. An independent commission is a good way to do it, is a better way to do it. In one state, they had proposed the idea of having to get majority approval from both the minority and majority parties in the legislature for a redistricting plan. So you would have to get a majority of the minority party in addition to just a majority of the majority. So there's got to be, this is a little bit tricky to position this right now because we've got Republicans who have drawn the map, who have a lot to lose here if the map changes. But in the long run, this works for both parties because when Democrats get back in charge, they do the same thing. So you can see it as a blow to your party's interest if you take the short view, but in the long term, this is a more beneficial way to get more people than just the folks who are currently in charge involved in drawing these maps. Is
it tricky, Nolan? Because when you say independent commission, is there truly such a thing as an independent
commission? And that's
commission?
The devil in this thing. It's almost impossible to get a truly independent commission. I think the people pushing this are certainly not independent. It's almost entirely a Democratic group. I think there are plans.
Would you agree, though, with Nancy's point, though, that in the long haul, it would be better for both sides because flipping that, it's not just saying the Republicans have drawn poorly, that the Democrats have done it when they had a chance as well.
If you can figure out how to make an independent commission, and I think, again, that's a challenge that nobody seems to have encountered. There's a plan out there that I think is a very good one, and that would be to cut the total number of Senate districts to 33, cut the number of House districts to 99 to reflect our shrinking population, and then require that each of those Senate districts contain 3 House districts. So you cut down on gerrymandering or the ability to gerrymander quite a bit. I mean, you really put some restrictions on the ability to draw crazy districts. If you say each of these districts has to contain, each of these Senate districts have to fully contain 3 House districts.
I mean, you're never going to get up this perfect, pure system, but you can do better than what we're doing now.
Well, there's no doubt on that.
I think it's
part of the challenge.
Well, let me ask you about the challenge of educating voters to this prospect and then having it actually become some kind of ballot proposal there.
Yeah, I doubt it'll ever make the ballot. That's an expensive process. But I think legislatively you could take this up and fix this and fix it in a way that satisfies everyone, or mostly satisfies everyone. Part of the challenge in drawing congressional districts, for example, is now you're into federal law and the Voting Rights Act. Detroit has 670,000 people now, 78. You've got each congressional district contains 720,000 people. Detroit should be a single self-contained congressional district, but because you can't eliminate a majority-minority district, they've got to take these districts and pick up pockets of minority voters here and minority voters here, and it looks like a mess. If you could contain Detroit as one district, you'd do a lot to cure that gerrymandering look of these districts.
The challenge of educating voters on this, Nancy, what would you say?
So the League of Women Voters did a series of town halls, I want to say 2 years ago, and what they found was that when they explain this to folks, that folks say, yeah, no, this is not how it should be, we want to do it differently, but that the majority of people didn't know about the issue, they didn't understand it. When they explained to them, they totally understood it, got it instantly, but it's reaching enough people to make them understand how important it is the big challenge.